Welcome to Everywaywoman. There are some major changes happening in the talk show world. I want to talk about it, ladies.
Well, yes, there are changes because I think that the producers and the executive producers and head of networks are just trying to find their place, and they really have lost touch with their audience. That's what I think that's happening.
Why do you think they've lost touch, Madison?
I think they're a little bit too focused on a younger, richer socioeconomic class that doesn't really exist except for in a very small percentage.
Well, it exists on, you know, the real teenagers of Beverly Hills, but that was not how I grew up in Grand Rapids.
Right, no, it isn't. Exactly. And you're right, reality TV in its way has wreaked havoc on our household and on our women.
And also, I don't think personally that the producers are willing to take a risk. This is a conversation we've had among ourselves, and we talk about other shows and why some make it and some don't. And I always go back to the Katie Couric show because it's what a great opportunity for America's sweetheart.
I loved her.
I know,
loved
right?
her.
But she did not take advantage of what she had to offer older women.
Right.
And she had a built-in audience that she didn't go after.
Well,
and
that's because she had this formula that everybody else has been using. It doesn't work.
The risk taking and not taking a risk, and that at Everywaywoman, we want to take a risk because there's so many other women out there.
Right, and the risk that we want to take is we want to reach out to real women.
Do you relate to anything right now?
I do, because at the same time, a lot of the times when the shows out there, they look into ratings. So when they pick somebody, they pick them usually because they're popular, but at the same time, do they bring ratings? So that's how they end up.
Do you feel like they're ever considering you, Anna, as a Latina? You know, you're in your 30s. Do you feel like you're ever being considered by these producers?
No, actually, no. I'm happy to be a part of this because you don't see a lot of Latinas out there, you know, in the industry of talk shows. You know, I would love to see that.
I think they're going after the Latino market, but I think they're going after it for the wrong reason, what you said, for ratings. I don't think they're really putting a lot of consideration into who they're casting to be.
Right, and who is actually connecting with them and who is actually watching them. And I don't know if they're representing the culture as well that comes behind it. And it's not just the strict culture from where it comes from, but how that is melted into what's the culture now.
But I think you see it a lot in the Spanish channels. Do you really see Latinos really out there unless it's like a sitcom or something?
Right.
Yes, and that's why when Madison and I thought about creating Everywaywoman, I think one of the main sticking points was that we wanted a show that other people can relate to and didn't feel like, well, I'm just a consolation viewer, I have no choice,
Madison, what
and
was
stuff
that
like
light
that.
bulb for you? What sparked Everywaywoman?
For me, it was getting into touch with being domestic. Because before getting married, I was not really a domestic kind of woman. I was out, I was just living free, I didn't care where my underwear ended up. And I mean just on the floor. What I mean is on the floor, if it ended up on the floor. You know, after getting married, putting clothes on the floor was not okay anymore. All of a sudden, I needed to know how to do a lot of things that I didn't do before. So,
I remember a conversation we had on almost the same topic. I remember Madison and I was like, we want to show that women can feel like they could do it themselves, and we go back to your wedding cake.
Oh my
and
gosh,
I remember
what a disaster.
you telling me about your wedding cake.
Wait, Martha Stewart.
Tell us about your wedding.
Yes.
I watched Martha Stewart.
Yes.
She was like middle class, forever mom type of woman, right? So I looked up to her because she was the only one out there that she was the closest person that I could relate to, and I'm half Korean. Okay, so she put out a book of wedding cakes that said that I can make a wedding cake. And I thought, okay, my husband-to-be is super picky. He wants to have this special fondant icing. And Martha Stewart says, I can do it. So, all right, Martha Stewart, I'm going to do it. My wedding night. Okay, my wedding night.
You did on your wedding night.
At 4 a.m. in the morning, I am rolling out this dough.
Fondant? Are you kidding?
No, I had no idea.
hard.
Nowhere in the book did it say you need a spatula the size of a dining table in order to lift this frosting up and put it on a cake.
Madison, you are crazy.
Absolutely.
I mean, nobody stopped
But
you
that
for
was who I was relating to because she was the only one out there. And I was so frustrated because that's not part of who I am, but I was trying to be somebody I wasn't.
But it was actually kind of the building blocks of everyone.
Yeah.
We were talking about, okay, they're doing stuff that's not real, and real women are trying to do it, and they can't do it.
And they're so frustrated.
And they were so frustrated.
And do you know at Ralph's, I asked what a truffle was, and they sent me to the chocolate section, which I went to, but there's a nut called a truffle, and you don't shave that.
You want a truffle oil?
Yes, I shave chocolate truffles into my shrimp dish, my 15-minute shrimp dish.
Are you kidding me?
Because I didn't know that it was.
And that's really what the show is about, because we wanted to educate people, have fun, and at the same time, because a lot of people didn't know anything, and we were both saying,
what was that point for you?
We were just that conversation. We both I realized, Madison realized, we needed this information to be in one spot.
And like balancing a checkbook. I remember going to Yolando and I don't understand why at the end of the month I'm getting bounced here and there and everywhere. And Yolanda looked at me and went,
that's the problem. Nobody ever taught us how to do
No
these
one
things.
teaches this stuff. And sometimes some people can only learn from television, from people in the media,
or from our friends.
That's from our friends.
Or from our coworkers, or from our mothers, or from our...
You know what? YouTube doesn't know it all. I'll tell you that, because I can Google some answers and then I try it and it's not for real.
I think it's a beautiful thing being a part of this panel and a part of the show, because just like 2 days ago, yesterday, I'm sorry, yesterday.
That's okay.
I got stopped at Starbucks, paying for my, mocha, and then she was like in a 26, Caucasian, and she was just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you're here, and she took a picture with me.
You got recognized.
I got recognized.
That's someone you connected with.
And that's who.
And because you provided something for her that she wasn't able to get somewhere else.
And you also told you?
That I gave, she goes, you give me hope. And honestly, that's what made me really speak.
And you became real to her.
Yes.
I think I texted you and I'm like, I almost cried.
And every time you said, I kind of cry, because that was the whole purpose of doing the show.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So,
Beyond hope, what are you hoping to leave with the women who are watching, or men that are watching the show?
That, don't give up. I think the show is about not giving up.
And be who you are. Be true to yourself and be who you are.
Different women, different conversations, different opinions, but it's always great. Here on Every Way Woman. Stay tuned. Coming up next, more Every Way Woman.
Are you an everyday woman?
Everyway Women are concerned about real health issues and topics. Stay tuned as we get real about our health.
Back with Everyway Woman, and real women may do it all, but they are not invincible. Healthcare is so important to Everyway Woman.
It is really important. It's very important that we create segments that's going to give women and men as much information as possible. And sometimes I feel like on talk shows, I think they glamorize illness.
Yes, they do. They kind of make it, they glamorize it. They make it like, wow, this next cure, this next thing, where it's really, when it happens to you and your health is down, that's not how it is.
Well, and healthcare shouldn't be treated as something trendy.
Yes.
And that's what it has turned into. And we, as patients, we already go into the unknown, and we really don't know what's going to happen. So we're trying to give or create segments where people know what questions to ask now. Because I know when my husband goes to the doctor, I make the appointment, I tell the nurse or the secretary on the other line, check him for this, and this.
Well,
he's going to remember.
Well, because let's not lie, we all go on the internet and we self-diagnose.
Yes.
We Google everything.
Which is, it's a really bad habit of mine. I'm not going to lie.
Well, here's the thing is that, what is regulated on the internet, on search engines, is very minuscule. So people can put things out there that say that they do things they don't actually do. It's not until it's on the label that the FDA regulates
it. And what's interesting is actually there are a lot of talk shows in the hot seat right now for endorsing these trends and endorsing these medications and pharmaceuticals without the proof. And the viewers, the audience, the real women and men out there are trusting us.
Yes.
We want to be able to give them the truth.
I found our segments really useful for me, being single, somebody that never really looked into going to the doctor when I was younger.
Were you scared of that?
No, I was just living my life. But now it's like everything, I feel like, oh my God, my back hurts. What is it?
Right,
you know?
and sometimes the truth isn't pretty. And sometimes the solution isn't easy.
But my point was like going back to the segments that I watch, even when I'm on set, it's like, wow, I didn't know that.
And you're right, and what she said about the truth not being pretty, it wasn't pretty for me to be in my 30s to find out that I have menopause. It was a lot. I was like, what is going on? But it was more disappointing with the doctors who wouldn't admit it. And they say, oh no, you're too young.
They didn't listen to you, and you know your body better than anyone.
Exactly.
And that's what a lot of people miss over, is that quite often they're already intuitively understanding what it is that they need or what's going on. But having that intuition doesn't always help, because sometimes that intuition is scary. Well, and they don't want to know.
And it's so great for me to be able to have you ladies to discuss that with. And I know maybe even for some of you as well, because when you talk to your grandmothers or your mothers, they're not exactly always open with it. Yolanda has a really funny story about
I talked to my mom about, and grandmother about menopause. I said, hey, what time did you, what age were you when you went into menopause? Oh, I don't remember. And my doctor told me to take Tums.
Tums.
And I'm like,
really? Yeah. That's going to help.
And it's for minorities, it's already a struggle for us to even talk about.
Why?
I don't know why. My mom knew she had a lump in her breast for at least 2 to 4 years before she said anything that turned out to be breast cancer.
Right, and that's not uncommon.
Why wouldn't she say
They think
something?
it's God's will.
Right, but also it's not uncommon, because if you think about those generations going back, they just didn't talk about those things. It was a no-no. Once it was said, it was solidified.
Well, the Latinos are different. The Latinos, not Latinos. In my family, they talk about, oh my God, mija, me duele esto. It's like they're always complaining.
No, my mom sent me to school with the chicken pox and told me that it was mosquito bites in the middle of winter.
No.
Yeah, it's because she didn't want to face that there was something wrong with us or that we were sick. And we had to be sent home by, principal to go, you can't send your kids to school with chicken pox.
You know what's interesting though? When I was younger, and still to this day, I try and just power through. And I think women do that a lot rather than, we listen to our bodies, but we're trained to tolerate so much pain, whether it's through our hormones or menstrual cycles. And we think like, oh, it's just another pain, I'll get through this. Oh, it's a headache, I'll get, and we don't necessarily always listen to the signs that we need to be listening to.
And we need to listen to those signs. Those signals are coming clear, because this is my thing. If you don't take care of it now, it's going to cost you more later. And that's the message that we'll keep trying to hammer home here on Everywhere.
Preventative care.
But not just that.
Exactly.
If you understand what's going on and you can relate that to someone in our audience and they're connecting to it, it might give them that opportunity to then connect and reach out, go to the site or go take a doctor's visit.
And not Google. Watch your
Right, yeah, so
watch our segments.
Watch Google.
Google isn't always right.
No, it isn't. I love Google, but...
Well, and just because you have health insurance, you might not have health care. And it's really great to learn how to navigate that system and, sort that through, especially with what our government's, trying to figure out right now, having this forum to discuss it.
And getting real information.
Even if it's really scary. Take care of yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back. Don't go away with more Everyway Woman.
Are you an everyday woman?
Everyone says that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but dinner time is family time. Does that take precedence? Let's find out.
Dinner time is family time, but sometimes it's a lost art. Yolanda, how do you feel about this?
To me, dinner is the most important time of the day, because it's the one time that the entire family really have an opportunity to be together. Breakfast, you're rushing. You can have lunch at school or at work.
Yeah, except for, unless you live in a two-income household. Because I know for me, dinner time was very important, but it didn't work for me, because when I was at home, my husband was at work.
Yeah, and that's the struggle, to have those moments.
Would you eat with your kids, or did you wait for your husband?
I know I'd eat with my kids, because I wouldn't see him until 4 in the morning, and sometimes not the next day.
Well, for me, it's different. I'm single, don't have a family, so.
So what is dinner time for you?
Friend of a TV.
We're
on the road? On the road.
And I understand, because I'm single as well, but then sometimes, they even say.
I take myself out.
Of course.
But I do agree that dinner time is one of the most important times, that it is family time, and that it is a time that should be honored. Because
I would change things.
I have some of the best conversations with my kids over dinner.
But how do you instigate that? Because even the children now are sitting at the tables with their iPads. Some of them even have iPhones.
In your house, maybe.
Not in my house, I don't have the kids. But, you know, I have friends who will sit their children down in front of their iPad.
They don't know what they're being unconscious.
And also the parents don't realize that that is such valuable time. It's a lesson of teaching. It's an opportunity to see what's going on in their day. How is their school? And that's what you find out about your kids through their conversations and things like that. So it's a lost art.
Yes.
Because for some reason we think, hey, we don't have to have a little bit of old-fashioned values, but those old-fashioned values is what shape us. And plus,
so
didn't some of your best memories?
You were raised with these old-fashioned values.
Yes.
But I was too.
But then some of your best memory, Anna, come from around the
I hold them right here because I remember, you know, anniversaries. Our family used to actually celebrate it, include us, give us presents. My mom would do this whole thing of even menus on the dinner table.
I remember we didn't have dinner time, and that was because of the two working parents. And so dinner time quite often for me was we go get our own bowl of rice, and I learned how to cook hot dogs when I was like 4. So that was dinner time for me, and I think that was something that I longed for and I missed growing up, was having that connection. When I went to families' houses and they had dinner time, I looked around and went, wow, I'm really lonely at home.
My family really made a point to have Sunday family dinner, but if that included a pot roast, I had other plans. I mean, still to this day, my mom makes pot roast. I'm not there for dinner.
Like pot
Love
roast.
you, Mom. But it's just so funny, and she always thought that was a good mom goal, to serve a roast and have this family dinner and this family time, and we you know, dedicate Sundays to that. And even now, as a single woman, I try and open my doors on a Sunday, and anybody can come over, and I'll cook for you, and we'll have dinner, because I want to include that in my life and have that community.
That you mentioned like Sunday, because I don't know if you know this about Black people. Like Friday is fish and spaghetti night. I mean,
fish
you
and
can't.
spaghetti.
Yes,
spaghetti.
yes, fried fish
Really?
and spaghetti, and you cannot go to a single place. It's not too many Black homes you can go to on a Friday that they're not
You
serving
eat
fish.
fried fish on spaghetti.
Yeah, no fish. And spaghetti.
And spaghetti.
Okay,
So
not on
It's
it.
like
Not on
chicken and waffles.
Yes.
Maybe.
But
They do have that. You can get chicken and waffles now.
Yeah, but we had designated days where you knew what you were having for that dinner, and it was every week. So, it was
our
fun.
director, she always tells me this story about her mom, how Tuesday was a bad day, and every Tuesday growing up was pizza night. I mean, they just, they knew that this is how it's going to be done.
Well, I have to tell you, we really didn't eat out growing up. And that's why I have so many memories around dinner time or food in general, because I didn't know people ate out on holidays. I did not know this until I got older.
We eat out on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
We go
but
for Italian.
we didn't,
I didn't
know
celebrate
that.
any
I
holiday.
dated
Wait,
a Jewish
I
man
want to
for
touch
a while,
you.
and I didn't know that Sunday nights was Chinese night.
But real quick,
I didn't know. I was like,
I don't know if you just heard this.
What?
Anna didn't celebrate holidays, and
I
think
didn't
this
celebrate any holidays.
Why?
The way I was raised, religion-wise, but I mean, it was a little, it's nothing. That's a whole new other segment, but related to eating, it was right after church. That was our going out to the restaurants, and
Were you
after
jealous?
church, it was no, not at all.
Of the other families?
How can you be jealous of something you don't really know? Exactly.
Now it's a little different. I don't. It's another topic. Like
But
I
how
said.
do you feel though about, like you said, you had to go to restaurants and sometimes by yourself. You don't feel bad about, but do other people make you feel bad about
I
it?
do things by myself now. But
So
I
you
do things. I go have dinner and go celebrate with my friends on other things.
Oh, okay. But it's still important to
I
you.
feel like
Yeah.
people do look at me a little funny if I go. I'll usually sit up at the bar so I don't feel too lonely. So I have a bartender to talk.
no, they're not looking at you funny. They're hitting on you.
Yes.
I'm so oblivious to that, you guys. No, seriously, ladies, I'm oblivious to that. But I do feel like people look at me like, "What's wrong with her? Like, why is that girl?"
Oh, I'm too busy
Right?
eating.
Why are you
Yeah,
alone?
why are you alone?
Oh my God, I hate
and,
that.
And I really get down on
It's
myself
okay
about
to
that.
be alone
I hate
and
that.
enjoy your
No,
meal.
Then I treat myself to dessert too. If
There
I
you
eat
go.
alone, I get the appetizer, I get the entree.
This whole topic just made me
you
feel
got it
lonely.
backwards. You do that on dates.
I've got you, honey.
You have it backwards. You do that on dates.
Yeah, you let them pay for the
Somebody else
dessert.
pays. When somebody else pays.
Yeah, you never pay for dessert.
Never. It's not worth the calories. Well, I do think it is so important that we do make time for your family, getting to know each other, whether it's over lunch or dinner time, family time. We'll be right back. I'm gonna get that in 10 seconds. There's more to come with Every Way Woman.
Are you an everyway woman?
Everyway Woman is doing everything we can to make sure that we can reach you at home, on your phone, or across the world. Stay with us and continue with the movement.
Welcome back to Everyway Woman. So we are taking the conversation beyond the show to the movement. Tell me about this platform, Yolanda.
Well, the movement is just an extension of the show. It's things that we cannot get to, plus it gives us an opportunity to reach women around the world. Now, Madison and I, when we was first talking about the show, we first did a segment. We wanted to test this blender.
Magic Bullet.
Yes,
Magic Bullet blender. It's been around forever.
Yes, it's better now.
Yes, it's better now. And we pulled it out, we pulled out some recipes, and we made things that it gave us to make.
Yes.
And it started smoking.
Yeah. So that's what the movement is about. For like, we'll test products, and or like, I remember Madison's like, we should really test these magazine fitness, workout programs,
right,
and see if they actually work.
Or recipes, 15-minute deals. When you go to the store and you want to buy something, and like there's 10 different lemon poppy seed muffins on the table.
Which one's the best?
Right, which one's the best? Do you spend $2.50 on one box and then 99 cents on the other? I mean,
you know what, I'll tell you, I'm obsessed with trying, and ladies and gentlemen, you can get more information on the movement, of course, the beauty products, okay?
Yes,
I want to know which ones work. In fact, I'll put one eye cream on one eye for 2 weeks and one on the other.
Are you serious?
Is that what happened last
absolutely. That's terrible. Don't tell my dirty secrets. But yeah, I'm so serious because I really am invested in the discovery of, searching
Yes,
for the truth behind these articles or these products. And we really want to share that with our audience,
yes,
with our friends.
how do we make choices? How do we make smart choices unless you actually try it? And what we've learned, Yolanda and I learned over time, is that some products work really well with one type of skin.
I think it's
and it doesn't
good.
work well with another.
I mean, you're a pro at that.
Well, yeah,
as a
I think
makeup
it's
artist.
good being on the web because, I mean, there's so many, everybody goes to the web for everything,
Yes.
And
not everyone watches television. They use their...
And the other thing is, too, is I might go to the web, but I don't have time to go to the web and look at 12 different sites.
But we can test it for you.
But we can test everything, and all of that information we want to have in one place.
And not
for
just
you.
testing products, do it yourself, quick fitness tip, quick money tips,
Or
things like that.
conversations. Let's talk to the guests behind the scenes. Let's talk to them after the interview.
Right, because the interview face is sometimes different from who they are off camera.
Exactly.
And sometimes it can be more interesting.
Is there going to be edits?
Yes, and also, believe it or not, we get a chance to talk entertainment because, even though we don't celebrate celebrities on this show, people do like celebrities, so it gives a chance to us a little bit of gossip.
We like to gossip.
Right,
we like to
gossip. We like to gossip as well.
Exactly. So it gives us a chance and opportunity to gossip. But I just like the opportunity.
Always in a positive way. We never talk trash.
And we do have a large audience outside our area. We have a lot of women that reach out to us from around the world.
Right, China.
Yeah. So it's great.
Been there. Love you, China. We want you to embrace the show, and we're really excited to go beyond just your living rooms to your computer screens, your iPhones. Check us out at everywaywoman.com. Everyway Woman gives back to the community. Go to everywaywoman.com to find out how you can match our donations of undergarments for needy kids. Thanks for getting to know Everyway Woman. This has been an Everyway Woman production.